Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. Alright, today I have added just one more Halloween wreath because number one, I'm addicted to Halloween. Number two, I am addicted to wreath making, if you haven't noticed by now. For Halloween, I love that cutesy side, and I also like that gory, bloody side too as well, and everything in between. So today we're going to go a little bit scary, if you will, but we're going to make a base Cruffle wreath using 3 different kinds of deco mesh and some texturing to really create some interest for that wreath. We're using 10-inch deco mesh on an 18-inch wire frame using that Cruffle method. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I made. I'm going to be using a 18-inch wired wreath frame today, and the deco mesh that I chose is a black and white checkered, a solid black and a solid red 10-inch. This is a 21-inch floral wrap. It's like a mesh sort of, and 2.5-inch wired ribbon. I only ended up using the black and red check. This Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake metal sign. Some plastic chains. This is just from the dollar store. Nice and light, it's plastic. A face mask and a machete for the Friday the 13th theme. Some coordinating pipe cleaners, and of course, my regular crafting utensils to create this project today. I'm going to start off with my cutting mat and my rotary cutter. I'm going to use this to cut the deco mesh, but if you have a ruler and a pair of scissors, that's going to work totally fine as well. Today's magic number, what is it going to be? It's going to be 30. So today I'm cutting all of my deco mesh at the 30-inch mark. So I'm just using that cutting mat and my rotary cutter, laying out my deco mesh and doing my cuts at that 30 inches. So I'm doing the red. I'm going to do the solid black color at that 30-inch mark, and I'm also going to be doing that black and white check deco mesh at the 30-inch mark as well. So again, I'm using 10-inch by 10-yard deco mesh. Today I'm going to do the Cruffle method, otherwise known as the woodland ruffle. And all of my deco mesh, I'm doing 10 cuts at 30 inches. So for this wreath, it's about 75 feet or about 25 yards of deco mesh that I used in total to create the wreath. This is that 21-inch, they call it floral wrap. It's got kind of like a mesh, almost like a spider web look to it. And what I did was I cut it in 10-inch strips, and then I cut it in half again at 10.5. So the squares are about 10.5 by 10 inches that I'm cutting, and I'm just using my rotary cutter to cut all of those up, and I'm cutting 12 of them. Here is my wire frame. I'm going to create a working wreath frame, and the first point that I'm going to put my stem in is those 2 outside wires and that 1 anchor wire. So I'm going to wrap that around, and I'm going to do that at the next section as well. So it's that crossbar and the 2 outside wires, wrapping that pipe cleaner all the way around, and then I'm going to work on this center. So I'm going to create 2 on the inside wire, 1 on the 2 outside wires. So I'm just wrapping it around that wire, and these are the 2 inside wires, and now I'm going to come out and do 2 outside wires, wrap that pipe cleaner around, and 1 more right on the 2 inside wires. So I have 1 at the crossbar, and then I have 3 in between each section, and that's going to be our working wreath frame. So now coming to the next section, do the same thing. So I'm adding those 2 inside wires, wrapping it around, then the 2 outside wires, wrapping that pipe cleaner around, and kind of a zigzag pattern in between each section. Now I'm coming back to the 2 inside wires, wrapping that pipe cleaner around, and then I'm going to finish off the section with wrapping another pipe cleaner right around that crossbar and the 2 outside wires. And I'm going to continue on finishing all of the sections. And once I'm all done, here's what it looks like. And right in the center, I have 12 pipe cleaners, and all along the outside, I have 12 pipe cleaners. So it's a total altogether of 24 stems for our working wreath frame. Now that we have our deco mesh cut and our working wreath frame done, I'm taking my first piece of deco mesh, which is red, curl side up, and then what I'm going to do is right at the bottom is I'm just going to curl it over, creating a little tube, and I'm going to roll it several times, maybe about 5-6 times. Grab a clothespin, close it together, rotate it, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to create that little tube, roll it up, and then when I get here, I'm going to anchor my thumbs, squish together that loop, and then I'm going to gather all of that deco mesh together right until I get to the top. Now this is the Cruffle or woodland ruffle method, so it's got 2 loops and a ruffle in between. Once I've gathered everything, I'm just going to gather the center, and you'll see here I have my loop at the top, the ruffle in the middle, and another loop at the bottom, creating a little bit of a bow tie shape. Then I'm going to come to my first outside stem, place the middle right in between those 2 pipe cleaners, give it a couple of really good twists, make sure it's nice and secure in there, fluff it up a little bit, and then now it's time for me to move on to my next stem. For this one, I'm doing the solid black and the checkered together, so it's almost like a double cruffle. Again, we're rolling at the bottom, grab that clothespin, anchor it, turn it around, create that other loop at the bottom, anchor those thumbs, gather all that deco mesh together and that ruffle, and then take the clothespin off, gather it together, and attach it to the next available pipe cleaner stem. Twist it a couple of times, and then here we go. We have our black and white deco mesh. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the Cruffle method. So for this stem, I'm going to do 1 black and 1 black and white checkered. Once that's done, I'm going to take that, what do they call it? The floral wrap. Wrap it up in a tube and attach that to the red deco mesh stem. So now that is going to be my pattern. That mesh I'm going to do with the red deco mesh, and then the black solid, and then the black and white. And now, of course, this one here, I'm going back to the red, filling out the entire outside, and this is what it looks like. And now we're going to work on the inside. So again, we're going to do the exact same method. I'm going to start with the black. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different in the center. I'm not going to double up my deco mesh except for the red deco mesh. So I'm doing singles of the black. So I'm attaching one here. Then I'm going to grab the black and white checkered. I'm going to create that Cruffle bundle by the same method of procedure we're doing previously. Once I've got that all gathered, I'm going to place that right into the stem next to the black one. And then that's going to be our single attachments. And for the red, I'm going to do the same thing we did the outside. I'm going to create my bundle, attach it on the inside, and then I'm going to take that floral mesh again, roll it up into a tube, and attach it to our red deco mesh in the center. This way, the wreath is not so full. Now, y'all know I love a full wreath, but I didn't want it overly full, and you can see here, once I am done, it is nice and full, and it's just fantastic. I love the different textures, I love the different colors, and I love how this turned out. Now what I'm going to do, the black chain was a little bit too plasticky, if you will, for me, and not realistic looking. So what I did is I took some metallic paint. I just got the metallic paint at the dollar store. It is an acrylic paint with my paintbrush, and I'm going to dry brush on that silver paint, and I'm going to go through the entire chain, and you can see the difference between what we started with and what we have now. It's a little bit more realistic looking. So now I'm going to prep my sign, my mask, and that little accessory as well. Now this is a metal sign, so I would advise using hot glue because the hot glue will come off, but I am going to use these clips. Now these are the cable tie clips. There's a little hole right at the top. I'm going to take the sticky off, and then I'm going to use my cement glue, add a little dab on there, and then place that right onto the metal sign, making sure it's nice and secure. Now with this, you have to let it dry for 24 hours. So I attached this, let it dry for 24 hours, and then I came back. For the plastic mask and the plastic accessory, I did the same thing using those cable ties, but this I'm attaching it with hot glue. And then what I'm going to do, one more little prep, is I'm going to get my ribbon ready. So this is 2.5 inch wired ribbon, and I'm cutting it at 14 inches, and I'm going to cut 12 of them in total. Once they're all cut, fold them in half, cut on an angle, and create dovetails on both sides of that ribbon. Once that's all done, our wreath is ready to be prepared or ready to finish. I've got my ribbon, I've got my wreath again. All I'm going to do with my ribbon is fold it in half, find the center, gather it together, and then I'm going to place it right in between those 2 pipe cleaner stems, and I'm going to place my ribbon on the bundles where I have the black and white checked deco mesh. Then I'm going to cut off the excess of those pipe cleaners. We don't need them anymore with my scissors. Fluff it up a little bit, and then I'm going to move on to my next section. So again, the black and white checkered is where I'm putting my ribbon. Fold it in half, gather it, shape it into a V, and then attach it by placing it right in between those 2 pipe cleaner stems, twisting it a couple of times, making sure it's nice and secure, cutting off that excess, folding the excess in, and boom, we have all of our ribbon on our wreath. So again, I used 12 of those of the 2.5-inch wired ribbon cut at 14 inches. Loving this wreath so far. Now I have already attached my hat and my little accessory on here. It's time for me to attach my sign. And what I did was I fed floral wire through the little cable tie attachments, and I'm just going to feed it through to the back of our wire frame. But first I wanted to add a little more interest on here, so I'm using some more of those cut floral meshes. This one I cut the same size as before, 10 by 10.5. I'm feeding that wire through that mesh so it stays on. I'm not going to glue it down. There's nothing really to glue it onto. Feed those wires right through the back. Twist that a couple of times once you get it to the back. Make sure it's nice and secure. I think I twisted it about 7 or 8 times. I'm going to cut the excess off, and then I'm going to use a piece of electrical tape and wrap that wire around the wire frame. I love electrical tape for doing stuff like this. If you are a wreath maker and you don't have electrical tape in your kit, grab some. It works wonders. I love it. And then once I'm all done, those little holes always bother me on signs. So I'm just going to take my hot glue gun with some black wooden beads, glue that on top just to kind of finish everything off. And once it's all done, here is our Welcome to Camp Crystal Lake wreath, all set for Halloween. Like I said, not too cute, a touch scary, but you know, that's the part of Halloween. But the key takeaway of this wreath is all of that texture, all of that interest created by that mesh, created by that black and white checkered deco mesh, the red deco mesh, and I'm just so happy with how everything turned out. I love it. It creates a lot of interest, and maybe it might scare a couple of people on my front door. Who knows? Or maybe it might start up a conversation. And of course, there was some bloopers today, so enjoy. I hope it puts a smile on your face. Such a great success. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if this is the first time you're on my channel, already. I know. But that is me in a nutshell. I do love Halloween. I love all of it, the cute and the kind of gory side or scary. No. Am I focused properly? There, I think that's better. No. Hello it. No. Okay, stop, Dave. So I love it all, and in my house, yeah, kind of the gory side of Halloween. I love it all, and all in between. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. Thank you so much for joining me today while I created this Halloween Cruffle wreath. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new project. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.